Do less and make more money. Controversial? I don't know. We're going to find out right now. Hardly any technical analysis outside of the most basic stuff, like trend identification and taking a look at market structure. Here we are on a live trade that I still have running. It's about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard. We're on AUD CAD. I saw price was in a downtrend. Wow, it's headed down. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell. Where am I going to look to sell? After price pulls back on a higher time frame. This is the 5-minute. I'm just going to look at one time frame to make this simple. Price pulled back, made a new low, pulled back, and then started forming structure down. And as it did, I sold. We saw price come down here, push back up after putting a low in. And if this was going to continue up, we would have wanted to see this price continue up and break this high and form a new higher high. We don't need to use technical terms. We're going to keep this super simple. We're hardly doing anything, and we're going to make money doing it. It comes down. It starts forming downward structure because price is moving down. Simple as that. And we sold. We sold right here with a stop above this high. And then it continued down and we sold again. We sustained a little bit of drawdown and now we're in profit. This position's almost halfway in profit. This one's sitting in a little bit of profit. Coming towards the end of the day, so I'll probably close this one out soon. I'll have around a 3/4 of a unit of risk in profit. That'll be the win on that one. Euro USD didn't work out so good. I'm going to show you a loser. Same thing. Price was headed down. We saw it pull back up to this resistance zone, if we want to call it any fancy name, where price reacted from last time in this downtrend. I thought I saw price starting to form downward structure. I saw it failing to break these highs. It wasn't going up anymore, so I wanted to sell. And I did. And then guess what? It didn't keep going down. So what did I do? I closed the trade. Hardly doing anything here, guys. I'm selling when it's going down, and if it's not going down anymore, I just close it. So rather than adding to this one, I closed it early. Here's the break above these highs where I closed this trade. We took about a half a unit of risk loss on this one, and we made up for it with the 3/4 of a unit of risk win. This wasn't a massive winning day where we've got 4 or 5 times of unit of risk in profit. Those days do come. This wasn't one of them. I'm just breaking down that with a 50-50 win rate, hardly doing any technical analysis, the most basic form of saying, I think price is going down, so I'm going to sell, and I'm going to utilize a little bit of where price has printed on the chart without calling it any fancy names or trying to figure out where the banks are trading. And if it works out, if it's working in my direction, I'm going to add to that trade and try to capitalize on that winner. And if it's not working out, I'm going to cut that loser short. And I'm going to try to minimize that loss in order to make a little bit more when I'm right and lose a little bit less when I'm wrong. That's it. I'll show you where I called these 2 trades live. Here's me saying I'm short AUD CAD. Here's me saying I'm short Euro USD. I had said that tight stop loss, reduced risk, not showing a lot of selling pressure, maybe too early. I was. And it was failing to break these highs. Guess what? It pushed back up. Here's me saying I'm closing it as it's breaking the highs. And then I added to AUD CAD and profit. Here's an update. Still pushing down, still holding it. Small amount of profit. It went down into more profit. And I adjusted my stop loss down because now that new price action is formed, if it pushed back up, I don't want to be in the trade anymore. This is doing the bare minimum. I think doing less a lot of times in trading is a controversial thing to say. I think it's better. Stop adding indicators to your chart. Maybe stop trying to figure out what everybody else is doing, what the dollar's doing, what gold is doing. Stop worrying about all these other things that don't matter and focus on what actually matters, price itself. Focus on price action. If you're going to trade price action, you should be focused on price action. What is it telling you in that moment? Is it headed down? Maybe you should be selling. Maybe you should be looking at where prior high, prior low is, a support resistance zone, the most basic areas where price has reacted in the past, where there's big momentum. I'm trying to make this as general as possible to keep it as simple as possible because that's what's helped me. I was very confused early on. I had an enormous amount of indicators on my chart. I was paying attention to 100 different things. I needed 100 confluences before I entered a trade. And guess what? I was still right about half the time and still wrong about half the time. So instead of doing all that, maybe simplifying your stuff a little bit, simplifying your criteria for entry, creating a simple way to enter the market, have a stop loss in a place where you don't want to be in that trade any longer. If price reaches that, make it wide enough where you can manage the trade in between. And then once you're in, as price continues to move, because it either goes up or down, it doesn't go sideways for forever, it doesn't go backwards or diagonal. As it goes up in the direction of your trade, maybe add to that trade. As it goes down against your trade, if it doesn't look good, if it's breaking structure, if you're thinking it's more likely to continue to your stop loss, maybe cut that one short and focus on making just a little bit more on your winners than you're making on your losers. These 90% win rate strategies with 1 to 25 risk to reward, I don't see them working. They didn't work for me. If you could figure that out, more power to you, man. But I believe from a really early on, for early stages of the game, all the way through me trading full time, keeping things simple and allowing yourself to have the flexibility to get in and out of the market using your own discretion, using your experience, is a way better idea than trying to go down the road of continual adding on of new confluences and ways that you're attempting to predict the market and understand why the market is doing what it's doing. Have a baseline understanding. I think, reading the books and, going through technical analysis and understanding everything that goes into trading is important. What drives the market, some of the back end stuff, that's great. But when it comes down to entering and exiting, why are you looking at the correlation between gold and DXY and oil and silver and what GBP CAD is doing when you're trading Euro USD on a 5-minute chart? If that helps you and it's in your strategy, define those factors and stick to them. But the jumping around and adding in more, not the way. I'll grain of salt it with this. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I don't know anything I'm talking about. I'm just an idiot that is telling you what works for me and how I trade full time on YouTube. So you shouldn't take any of this as trading advice. None of this is a recommendation to do anything at all. If you want to watch me trade live, you want to watch me call out my trades and explain how I'm managing it and, understand why I'm making some of the decisions that I'm making and watch me lose consecutive trades, because that's what happens when you're trading. That's what this business is actually about. There's a lot of losing, and win consecutive trades and try to make a little bit more on my winners than I lose on my losers. So after 100 trades, I make a little bit of profit. Click the link in my bio, join my free Telegram where I call it all my analysis. And I'm usually running something to get into my Discord right now. Give me 30 days free. Message me, shoot me an email, figure out a way to get a hold of me, and I'll get you in there. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. If you watched this long, thank you. If not, I'll see you later. Try to keep it green. Keep things simple, guys. Do less. See you next time.